Welcome back. Still tuned in to Movers and Shakers on CNBCTV 18. Let's shift our focus away for a bit. Now, Motilal Oswal has launched a NASDAQ 100 ETF. Let's go across to Robert Hughes, the MD of Index Services NASDAQ OMX Group. Robert, thanks for joining us. First, could you explain why NASDAQ and why not perhaps an S&P 500? Because an S&P 500 typically is more diversified. It encapsulates about 75% of the companies. So why have you chosen the NASDAQ route?
I think the answer to that question, I think, is better served by our partner, Motilal Oswal, in their determination of bringing the NASDAQ 100 before any of the other U.S. benchmarks. But I think what we see in terms of the NASDAQ 100 index, we see a great opportunity to invest in the top 100 largest non-financial companies on the NASDAQ stock market. We've seen a tremendous amount of interest in the index grow over the last couple of years as we've seen bullish stances on technology in the marketplace. So we think it's a great opportunity for us in the Global Index Group at NASDAQ OMX to provide a great index to a great ETF provider.
Right, Robert. Just for the benefit of all our viewers, could you tell us what the composition would be like? Is it going to be 100% tracking the NASDAQ, which is there abroad? And what's the kind of returns that one can expect?
Well, of course, past returns do not indicate future success, but we've seen some very good performance in the NASDAQ 100 index, and I think even more so, we've seen a lot of momentum building in the performance of the NASDAQ 100 index. So the index over the last 3 years has returned right around 35 to 40%. And we continue to think that based on the valuations that we see in the companies of the index, that potentially could continue. In terms of the earlier part of your question, I forgot what was the earlier part of your question?
All right, Robert, let's just focus on the composition. The NASDAQ is really tech heavy. What is your expectation of growth coming in from the IT or the technology sector within the American markets or American listed stocks going forward? And what sort of ROI could we possibly work with, what you're estimating possibly in a year or so?
Well, I think it's difficult for me to gauge what is the ROI of the technology industry in the U.S. As I stated before, we're an index provider, and because of that, we're excited to see the growth of the index. We're excited by the companies that are included in the index. And again, we think it's a great opportunity for Indian investors to gain access to some of the iconic brands that drive the success of the NASDAQ 100 index. I think when you look at the opportunity for Indian investors for the first time to invest in iconic brands like Apple, like Starbucks, like Google, we think that that's just a tremendous opportunity and believe that right now, the ETF industry in India is ready for a product like this, and we're excited to see the ETF launched.
Right, Robert, just on your last point, what is your expectation on possibly the interest we could see from Indian investors for this?
Well, we think that the growth of the ETF certainly will be a result of the hard work that NASDAQ and Motilal put into helping all of the Indian investors gain a clear understanding of what the product is, how it's structured, and what it represents. It will be an open-end mutual fund structure listed on the NSE and the BSE, so it's available to all retail and institutional investors alike. So we think that there's real possibility here that right now is a great time for continued diversification within Indian portfolios and hope that the NASDAQ 100 Index ETF is part of that process.
Thanks, Robert, for joining us, and we wish you good luck. So that is more on the Motilal Oswal NASDAQ 100 ETF, which is opened up. This will provide all the Indian investors diversification, and also it's rupee denominated, which will typically lower the currency volatility. It provides the diversification and gives you access to the US markets as well.